you understand that what you just said was nonsense. And I'm beginning to wonder what goes on in that head of yours.
Today, I tested to see if it's possible to get a job whilst being 100% honest. But why? Well, I wanted to see what happens when you're brutally honest in a job interview and see if I can still actually get the job.
So you're here to apply for the role of operations specialist. Begin by asking you a few general questions. Answer freely. Don't feel that there's any structure.
I'll be very honest with my answers. Very, very honest.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Firstly, can you briefly introduce yourself?
My name's Junior. Hi, hello. Welcome. I have a lot of experience in operations.
All right, so probably the best next question is, what attracts you to a career in sales and finance?
The money. I would say I'm somebody who's looking to get paid handsomely. I feel like the salary was really what drew me to apply and clicking that apply button. I feel like I'm very grateful for what you guys are offering, and I feel like I'm somebody who can not work hard but reap the benefits of getting paid from you guys. I'm motivated, and I'm somebody who who enjoys getting paid. I like money because if the money's not there, I'm not there.
I get that. I mean, obviously, from our point of view, yes, we'll pay you well, but it's your motivation beyond what you get.
Yeah.
That's
all important to you guys, but yeah, for me.
Moving on, how would you describe your communication style with clients?
I mean, I don't really see communication as that essential. I think it's something that if you want it, you can have it. I feel like I'm somebody who's very, I feel like you kind of get what I'm trying to say without saying. I'm a man of very few words. If you don't understand what I'm trying to communicate with you, that's more of a you problem than a me problem. But I do believe communication is important, just not too much. Communication is there. Is it vital? I mean, that could be interpreted for different ways, but yeah, communication.
Okay. That's interesting. It's a quite alternative approach, but it's interesting. All right. So what would you say are your strongest professional qualities? I'm sort of getting down to the heart of it now.
You really are in the thick of it. So I feel like I'm quite physical and physically fit. As you can see, I'm a very power unit of a specimen of a man. I go gym 6 or 7 days a week.
Okay.
I'm doing dumbbells 100 kg.
Okay, so I think we're going in an interesting direction here. And I won't say I'm confused, but let's see how you respond to the next question. So tell us about a challenge you faced at work and how you handled it, and try to keep within the realm of finance if you can.
So I think this goes back to when I was, we had a miscommunication with a client. They wanted a specific amount of, let's say, goods they wanted, and after they didn't pay up front sort of thing. I had to just physically show them how to follow the lines of agreements.
All right, it's not my role to comment at the moment. We'll just keep trying to develop this. But I would ask you to try and keep within the kind of the remit of the type of company that we are. What type of work environment helps you perform at your best?
I think a very hostile work environment. I'm somebody who likes to be put under pressure. Am I a team player? No, I say I play for the team. It's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, no, that's something, that's a very positive quality. Yeah. This is a more specific question, and I'd like you to try and give me a clear reply to this. So how do you stay organized when managing multiple priorities? Okay, are you all right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm very organized, always on top of my schedule. As you can see, I was 2 minutes early to this meeting. I like to have a structure to my life, sort of. I like to make sure there's some sort of routine, so I feel like I'm able to implement it within work.
Whoops. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's all right. Are you sure you don't want a moment? No.
Oh no, I'm good.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. That was an answer. I will say again, I'd like you to try and be more specific. So we'll move on to the next question. Because,
maybe if you could ask more specific questions.
That's of course that's possible. Slightly more general this time, but I do want you to be specific in your answer. So what achievement are you most proud of so far? And remember, we're talking about achievements within the world of finance or relative to the world of finance.
I think when I made 100k in under 5 hours, I was someone who was at the top of my game. Some could say it illegal, but I would say it's very, very legal. It depends who's looking at the case here.
Yeah, there's sort of a positive and negative to that, I must say. I mean, the positive is, yes, it's fantastic. You're able to make large amounts of money. Again, you're giving your point of view, and that's what we're here for. So moving on, where do you see your career progressing in the next few years? I mean, obviously, interested in that because, we hope that if you're a good fit with this company, you'll stay with us and we can all benefit from that. All right. No, yeah. Okay. If you could possibly answer the question, that'd be great. Thank you.
Potentially, probably in your position, I would say that I would like to see myself in the next 5 years, probably in your position, asking the questions to, a future candidate like myself, sort of thing. So yeah, be where you are, but just answering better questions, sort of thing.
Okay. Now, I'm getting the feeling that you might be finding this interview quite difficult.
No, I was just going to ask you. Like, you don't really seem too enthusiastic. I was just making sure that you're.
No, well, I'm very enthusiastic. I mean, we only invite people for an interview when we feel they're a possible candidate for the job. So, if I ask you some more specific questions now.
Okay. Finally.
So, how do you build trust with potential clients, especially when discussing financial matters?
A key method of mine, I call this the junior method. I've got to find leverage. So I think, following the clients morning to night and just finding weaknesses and finding points where you can leverage that against them. So when it comes to building a relationship, building that sense of a deal or a sale, they're more likely to say yes because they can't say no, because then you can then use that leverage to get what you want.
I just would need to ask one question leading on from that is specifically leverage. Give me an example if you would.
Just about, like I said, following the day-to-day, what they do in the morning, what their routine is, going to work, they take the bus, drive, cycle, line bike, forest bike, Santander, there's a lot of options there. Just about what they do, are they going back, are they going M&S, what they do for their lunch sort of thing, and then when they get home, are they cooking, are they ordering in, are they Uber Eating, are they Deliveroo, just find out what they do, and then are they sleeping or are they watching Netflix? So it's just about finding what they do. And understanding the client to a greater detail, so I'm able to put through a deal that's really meaningful to the client.
No, you're definitely showing a unique approach to this. So, Junior, moving on, how do you handle objections from hesitant clients?
I don't handle objection quite well. I think junior and the word objections doesn't really correlate. Success. Junior makes sense, achievements, junior makes sense. But yeah, so I think objection is kind of a client's personal standpoint, not mine. If they want to objectify, it's a them problem, not a me problem.
Yeah, no, that's not right. I mean, you must realize that's not right. Just let me, because I think I started out thinking that your approach was interesting, but I'm beginning to think it's misguided. Let's move on to the next question. Do try and respond directly to the question professionally and within the remit that this is a financial institution. All right, so can you describe a time you successfully closed a deal?
That brings me right back to when I was working in secondary schools. I used to sell Lucozades and Whisper chocolate. So I used to go around my school during lunchtime. I used to sell them. So I think I used to sell Lucozade for £1.
I'd just possibly choose a different example. It isn't appropriate what you just said.
It's a great story if you want it.
No, chocolate and lunch breaks just isn't working for me.
I'd say then when I used to work at JD Sports, somebody came for a pair of Air Force Ones, white, and they didn't have it in stock. So I had to go to the next store, process the order for them, and I closed that deal for them. They would have left the store without their Air Force Ones, but thanks to me, they went home with a pair of Air Force Ones, white. I think that was a good example of me closing the
all right.
person.
I don't know if you realize that we'll move on to the next question. Let's see how you respond. But remember, this is a financial institution.
Yeah.
Okay. What steps do you take to ensure compliance and accuracy in financial sales? And I emphasize financial sales.
Yeah, okay. So I think we should go back to that, the Lucozade and the chocolate situation, because that's a financial situation. So I think the steps I made was making sure that I agreed with my customer. They said to me, £1 for a Lucozade, that's too much in this economy. So I said, okay, hack into it 90p. And then they were like, I can work with 90p. So then after I got paid 90p, and I was able to negotiate a sale without losing that client because,
Are you trying to, I'm sorry, but I just have to ask you that, and I'm not getting the feeling that you're here in a serious capacity. It's becoming obvious, Junior, that you can't answer that question. It's not a matter that you're thinking because you have a different view to mine, which would be interesting and satisfying, but you simply can't answer the question. I'm sitting here, I have my schedule. My schedule allows another 10 minutes. Do you understand that? You still with me?
Still with you.
We can try another question, Junior. Let's look at a question that might actually be more appropriate for you.
Take your time as well.
I will ask you one more question, and you must give me an appropriate answer. And if you don't, this interview is over.
Okay. I'll look
So here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Junior is expecting to meet a client.
Yeah.
Junior is trying to think, how can I best talk to this client?
Yeah.
Introduce them to the opportunity we're offering. How do you prepare for this? How do you prepare before speaking with a prospective client? Nice, simple question.
Yeah. So I would do my research on them so they understand that I know their business in and out. I would make sure I prepare a fact file for myself and for my superiors to know the intricate details of the company running day to day. So from the CEO to every other employee, so we have a detailed understanding of how the business runs. How's that?
That's sounding a little more sensible. So let's follow up on that. Let's move on to how do you handle pressure when targets or deadlines are tight?
Pressure? What pressure? I would say that I am someone who's very cool-headed, so I don't really feel pressure. I'm somebody who's very much a cool dog, cool under pressure sort of thing.
All right. Let's ask you a more technical question. What KPIs do you typically track in your role?
So I would make sure that I am understanding the beneficiaries of the environmental situation, of the manipulation of the currency, and Uganda and Boris Johnson are forming an alliance within society, and understanding that we do need to cut in 10 minutes. So if you could maybe speed up this interview, would be great. But yeah.
You understand that what you just said was nonsense?
Oh.
Yeah. You understand that? This is gone from the kind of the infuriating to the ridiculous, and I'm beginning to wonder what goes on in that head of yours. Just to pursue that angle and see how ridiculous you can make yourself look and possibly make me look. Let's ask one more question. Okay, what do you think makes a top performer in financial sales? And do please concentrate on those two words, financial sales. Okay, top performer in financial sales.
So in financial sales, I would say that I'm a top shotter. So I'm somebody who reaches for the top, who is never afraid to be the GOAT of finance. Like, think of all the best movies you've watched, Wall Street. It's about me. Leonardo actually came to me for reference when he was shooting Wolf of Wall Street.
I think you've nailed it. Really, I think you've nailed it. You are probably the least likely person to succeed in finance. If I can give you anything from this interview, do not come into this profession. Do not waste people's time. I really do not know what to say to you except that our time is reaching an end, and I'm justifiably angry, annoyed, frustrated. But I'm not going to start denigrating you as a person. So because as I told you at the beginning of the interview, it is recorded. Let's not suggest further interviews or ask about salaries. Do you get that?
I just want to say thank you for your time today. I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm really excited for the future. And I'm hopeful with this interview. Fingers crossed.
I can only laugh. For us, we are finished. So I will go through the routine. Thank you very much for your time. And this interview is over.
Okay.
And I wish you the very best for your future. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm expecting that the email for the second interview. So I'll look forward. I'll be checking my emails daily. So yeah, thank you for your time. I really appreciate your time today. It's been a blast.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
no, thank you.
I would ask you to leave. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you again. Thank you. I'm feeling. I'm a bit nervous. Hopefully they like me. We get along, and I'm actually very excited. I'm first into a very long while, so I'm hoping to, really secure the job. So yeah, nervous, but